Hey, this is Coach Sherry. Today we're going to have a talk about a very, very sensitive subject. So stick around. This video will be a little bit longer than usual, but it's really important I get this message out. Today we're going to talk about life and death. Now, every time we experience a death, it's devastating to us because we're so used to having that person in our lives or knowing that they're around, knowing they're out there existing somewhere. But when suddenly they lose their life, we have to process that. And by doing so, we go through several changes. We go through denial, disbelief, anger, sadness, until we finally get to a place to where we actually can accept that this is what happened. And then once we accept what happens, then we have to reassess, how does life go on without them in our lives? And that can feel scary because we're so used to having life being the way it is. And then when someone is missing from our lives, how do we go on? What's life like? It's very scary. So I want to talk to you about this. When my grandmother died, who was my best friend, she died in my arms of a heart attack. And it was just beyond. And that's when I experienced so many emotions. I was mad at her for dying. I was mad at God. And I was in disbelief for the longest time, and angry and sad and lost. I never knew if life was going to be the same. And truly, life never will be the same. But at some point in time, you have to accept and move on and realize that this was something beyond my control. And I had to accept it. Over time, the intensity diminishes, but the pain doesn't. She passed away on February 18th, and I always think of her, always. But now I think of good memories of her, and I imagine that she's here. This is why I use this background today, up in the stars, watching over all of us and celebrating our victories and somehow magically holding us when we're not feeling our best. Over this past Thanksgiving holiday, in my circle of family, we have experienced 2 deaths, one 5 days prior to Thanksgiving and one on Thanksgiving. So it's really important that when we experience these deaths, that, there has to be strength among us. Now, my son is very much like I am, and he is being the rock for the people who were involved with the first death that occurred all of a sudden the Sunday before Thanksgiving. And he's being a trooper, holding it together because these people need time to process and to grieve. And then the death that we received in my immediate family here on Thanksgiving Day was a dear friend of my husband's who he's known since he was 16 years old. He was best man at our wedding. So I had to be the strength to hold it together so that he could process, do whatever he needs to do to process. And sometimes we have to do what we have to do. I'm really proud of how people do process. They go through the grieving, the sadness, the disbelief, the whole 9 yards. But then all of a sudden you realize that life goes on, and you don't want to get caught up in that for too long of a period of time. You want to embrace all the beauty about that person, all the memories, and that's what you keep alive. The fact that you were privileged enough to have this person in your life for as long as you did, and that you were privileged enough to make the memories with this person, that's what you embrace, how they impacted your life, good and bad. That's what you embrace, and that's what you hold on to. And then you pick up the pieces and you learn how to carry on and manage your life, knowing that they're no longer going to be there, but yet they're out here in these stars. I just know they are. This is my own personal belief. This is how I deal with it too. I really believe that their spirit is watching over us. So I'm proud of anyone listening to this video that experienced a loss, especially around the holidays, but at any time of the year, really. Just embrace all the memories and be grateful for the time you did have with this person, and carry on, because life is for the living. Life is for all the remaining people around you who love you and care about you. We are all here for each other. And we have to live. We have to move on. And yes, you'll have little pangs of pain when their anniversary of their death comes around. It's natural. It'll happen. But I urge you, every time you feel a pain from their loss, try to embrace a good memory from when they were here in your life. God bless all of you. I hope that you're safe and happy. And I hope that you have the strength to carry through should you be someone who has suffered a loss. And know that we are all here for each other. You are loved. You are cared about. Take care. Bye-bye.